Iranian attack on U.S. troops at NMU winter enrollment increases.
Later, weather with Jason Sigourney and sports with Max Stevens. Hi, I'm Ross Ray.
And I'm Caleb Rydell. Welcome to Public Eye News. Northern Michigan University is showing an overall increase in enrollment for winter semester from last year. The university's 10th-day enrollment report has shown a head count of 7,077, which is a 3% increase since last winter. The last time NMU had over 7,000 students, it was in 2016. As for the total university population, which includes online students, that number is now 15,683, which has increased significantly by the 61% growth in NMU's educational access network users. Student credit hours are up by 2.2%, while graduate students are up 14.6%. Undergraduate students' enrollments are up 2.1% from last winter, and the university hopes that this trend will be continuing for the coming years. And in Escanaba, a fundraiser for local Special Olympics program is underway at Bay College. The Chain of Love fundraiser is an annual event that is hosted by the Bay College and Lake Superior State University Business and University Business Professionals of America, and has already raised $160 in the last 2 days. The fundraiser lets Bay College students write the names of people that they want to remember on paper links for $1 donations, and those paper links are chained together into one long chain of love. The Special Olympics are self-funded, so events like this help the program continue to pay for its equipment, program fees, and other expenses. The Chain of Love fundraiser will continue through Friday at Student Success Center of Bay College, after which all the money will be given to the Special Olympics program.
Escanaba's former Super 1 could possibly become a new attraction for locals and tourists. Brownfield Redevelopment Authority has discussed a plan for a tentative 80-room hotel and 2 restaurants to take up the area. While the Redevelopment Authority does not have the exact cost for the project, they expect the building's demolition and asbestos attainment to be the largest cost, around $330,000. A public hearing is scheduled for the plans on Tuesday, February 18th at 10 a.m. And the Chocolate Township Board has made 2 changes to ordinances in order to allow indoor gun ranges in the township. One change is made to the zoning ordinance, while the other is made to the firearm ordinance, both to add exemptions for indoor ranges. The changes go into effect on February 12th.
Citizens of the Marquette County have recently become concerned about their Second Amendment rights and have asked the County Board of Commissioners to make Marquette into a Second Amendment sanctuary county. The board has stated that it does not have the power to do so, but they said that they would uphold the Constitution and do what is the best interest of the citizens. The board asked the county sheriff and county prosecutor to make a pledge of support to become a sanctuary county. The sheriff and prosecutor sent out a joint letter in response stating that the pledge would be unlawful and against the oath that they took. They stated that they would uphold constitutional rights, but they will follow what their official duties spell out. And the tragic and unexpected death of Kobe Bryant and 8 others in a helicopter crash has caused many to wonder what happened and if something could have been done to save them. A crash warning device that can be installed in a helicopter was not installed into Bryant's helicopter. The pilot was last heard saying that he was going to be attempting to climb out of the heavy fog. After the pilot's last message to air traffic controllers, in roughly 1 minute, the helicopter plunged 1,000 feet downwards and into the hillside where it crashed. It is unknown what exactly happened to cause it to drop so rapidly, and an investigation is ongoing. The bodies and wreckage were removed from the scene yesterday, and people across the county mourn the deaths of those on board. And after the break, we'll have your national and international news. Stay tuned.
Fresh, clean water. Is there any resource on Earth more important for human life?
We have 20% of the fresh water drinking supply in the entire world. The Great Lakes are looked at very enviously by many.
Tapping the Great Lakes, tonight at 8:30.
And welcome back. The number of U.S. service members who've suffered injuries from the Iranian missile attack that occurred earlier this month has raised to 50. Initially following the attack, President Trump reported that no Americans were harmed. It was not until days later that 11 military service members had confirmed head injuries. 1 week later, that number rose to 34, and yesterday it was at 50. In recent years, traumatic brain injury, TBI, has become the largest concern for the military as they have a better understanding of its negative effects. Thinking, memory, vision, and hearing can all be affected. However, this varies from case to case. From 2000 to 2018, there was more than 375,000 cases of TBI in the military. Those affected by the missile strike were treated in Iraq or in military health centers in Kuwait. Of the 50 members that were injured, 31 of them have returned to duty. And senators acting as jurors in the impeachment trial of President Trump get a chance to ask questions today. Many were waiting to see what happens during the Q&A period in anticipation for a vote of whether to hear new witnesses. Skylar Henry has more details from Capitol Hill.
Ms. Rosen.
Senators are using the question and answer period to lay the groundwork for a debate about calling witnesses in the impeachment trial.
Is there any way for the Senate to render a fully informed verdict in this case without hearing the testimony of Bolton, Mulvaney, and the other key eyewitnesses, or without seeing the relevant documentary evidence?
The short answer to that question is no. There's no way to have a fair trial without witnesses.
Would you please respond to the arguments or assertions the House managers just made in response to the previous question?
Then the president would have to have his opportunity to call his witnesses. And there'd be depositions, and this would drag on for months.
Questions will be submitted in writing over the next 2 days, time Republican leaders will use to try and close ranks against calling any new witnesses.
There have been a lot of discussions, but I have no idea how the votes are going to fall.
Calls for new witnesses picked up steam when it was revealed that former National Security Advisor John Bolton writes in his upcoming book that President Trump conditioned aid to Ukraine on an investigation into Joe and Hunter Biden. Lev Parnas, who says he helped arrange meetings for President Trump's lawyer Rudy Giuliani in Ukraine, arrived on Capitol Hill saying he wants to testify, but he doesn't expect to change Republicans' minds.
The Trump world is like a cult, and a lot of these senators are in the cult, so I don't know if anything could change some of their minds, but hopefully the public will know what's going on.
If new witnesses are allowed, Republicans want Hunter Biden to explain how he got a job on the board of a Ukrainian energy company. And at least one Democrat says he's okay with that.
I don't have a problem there because this is why we are where we are. Now, I think that he can clear himself.
Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and other Democrats say Joe and Hunter Biden aren't relevant to the impeachment case. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The bushfires of Australia continue to burn and threaten the lives and homes of residents in the area. A new wildfire was sparked on Wednesday by a military helicopter that was in the process of helping firefighters with a blaze that was out of control outside of the capital city of Canberra. The fire has spread significantly, reaching over 23,000 acres of land after igniting grass with a landing light. Fires are ranked on a 3-level system, and overnight the fire was downgraded from an emergency level to a 2nd level despite it still being out of control. Villages and cities across the country are still in danger and are threatened by the ongoing fires as the drought continues, and there is still no end in sight. And the plane evacuating U.S. citizens from Wuhan, China, has landed at a military base in Southern California. The city they left is ground zero for the coronavirus outbreak, and now some airlines are canceling flights to and from China. Chris Martinez is outside of the March Air Reserve Base east of Los Angeles.
The U.S. government chartered flight arrived this morning at March Air Reserve Base in Moreno Valley, California.
Here they come.
The 201 passengers are U.S. diplomats or U.S. citizens considered at risk for contracting the deadly coronavirus. Government health officials say they are being screened for signs and symptoms of the respiratory illness that's killed at least 132 people, most of them in China. The plane first made a fuel stop in Anchorage, Alaska.
The whole plane erupted into cheers when the crew welcomed them back to the United States.
Ann Zink is the chief medical officer for the state of Alaska and says all the passengers were screened twice before boarding the plane in China and were kept separate from the crew the entire trip.
They were monitored throughout the flight, and in Anchorage, the passengers were screened twice more and were approved to continue on to California by the CDC.
Dual American and British citizen Ian Thompson was on the plane and chronicled his journey that began on highways in Wuhan, China, deserted except for police checkpoints.
I had to go through my embassy to get here. And it's basically a case of I'm lucky to be on this flight.
The passengers will now have to stay here at March Air Reserve Base, quarantined anywhere from 3 days to 2 weeks to see if symptoms develop. The Trump administration is now reportedly considering whether to suspend all U.S. flights to and from mainland China. Some major airlines, including British Airways, have canceled all China flights. Here in the U.S., health officials continue to say the risk to Americans remains low. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Moreno Valley, California.
And don't touch that dial. I'll be right back with your weather and sports.
I've been around the world, but there's one place I keep coming back to. This week on UTR, it's Detroit, because there's lots more Motown to be found. We'll go indoors to see Michigan's great outdoors, fishing with some chips, and show you a classic new old place to stay. Then it's kids getting saved by the bell and living it up in your lederhosen. This is an under the radar you just gotta see.
Thursday at 9:30, Friday at 5, and Saturday night at 10:30.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I am Joseph Sigourney here with your weather forecast. Currently taking a look outside at our sky cam. It is overcast and classes are winding down. Right now it is 26 degrees. Winds are east-northeast at 2 miles per hour, and the barometric pressure is 30.25 inches and falling. Moving into tonight, it'll be partly cloudy, low of 20 degrees, and winds southwest at 4 miles per hour. And tomorrow it will be mostly cloudy, high of 31, and winds southwest at 4 miles per hour. And our current temperatures around the UP in Sault Ste. Marie, 20 degrees, Manistee, 26, Escanaba, 27, and 27 in Menominee. And on the western side in Iron Mountain, 25, Ironwood, 26, Houghton, 29, and back here Marquette, 26. And looking at our weather forecast for the weekend, on Friday it'll be a high of 32 and a low of 25. Saturday, high of 34 and a low of 29. And Sunday, a high of 41 and a low of 28, and partly cloudy throughout the weekend. And as it's cloudy here in the UP right now, I hear the Detroit Pistons are under some cloudy weather right now.
They sure are, Joe, but they're looking to get back on the right track tonight. The Detroit Pistons will look to snap their 3-game losing streak tonight as they hit the road to take on Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets. The Pistons have been having a woeful season thus far as they currently stand at 17-31, 10th place in the Eastern Conference at 14 games below 500. The Pistons' last win came a week ago today when they defeated the Sacramento Kings 127-106. Tonight's matchup with Brooklyn is the second in the last week as the teams met in Detroit back on Saturday, where the Nets escaped with a 121-111 victory in overtime. Tip-off for tonight's contest is set for 7:30. Taking a look at some college basketball now, the Michigan Wolverines snapped their 4-game losing streak last night on the road against Nebraska, 79-68 the final score. The Wolverines were led offensively by Eli Brooks, who scored 20 points as he started in place of the suspended Xavier Simpson. Michigan had jumped out to a hot start this season, picking up back-to-back wins over then top 10 opponents North Carolina and Gonzaga in the Battle for Atlantis tournament back at the end of November, but have since hit a stumbling block as Big Ten play began. The Nebraska win improves the Wolverines to 3-6 in conference play, 11th in the Big Ten standings. The Wolverines next take the court on Sunday for a top 25 battle with Rutgers. And announced yesterday, actor Emilio Estevez will be reprising his role as Coach Gordon Bombay for Disney Plus's Mighty Ducks TV show. Estevez starred in the role in the original Mighty Ducks film in 1992, as well as its sequel, D2, The Mighty Ducks, released in 1994. In the third Mighty Ducks film, however, Estevez's role was reduced to a cameo appearance due to scheduling concerns. The new Disney Plus series will be running for 10 episodes. Filming will begin in Vancouver next month and continue until early June. I don't know about you, Ross, but, you know, growing up when we did, it's nice to see Mighty Ducks again.
Oh, yeah, I'm real excited for it, Max. It's going to be amazing. I haven't seen that show in a long time.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's Mighty Ducks. I miss the uniforms that the Anaheim Ducks used to wear, you know, the ones with the logo. All right, and with that's all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of Public Eye News. We'll see you all tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.